It's Tuesday. You know what that means. Another Raw review coming up. Stay tuned. What's up, Maniacs? My name is Mex. I'm a wrestling fan, a wrestling enthusiast, a WrestleManiac, if you will. And today we are talking about Raw. This is the last Raw of 2020. Raw hasn't been good this year at all. Like overall, if I'm to give Raw a star rating out of 5, I've got to go with like a 2.5, maybe 2. It hasn't been good, but this was the last show. Had some glimpses of greatness or some good matches at least. Not a lot of good stuff either on this show, but we're going to go through all of it right here. So stay tuned. And right here on this channel, I discuss everything that is WWE and AEW. So if this sounds like the place for you, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you get notified each and every time I drop a new video. And if you're watching live right now or you're watching this back, please smash the like button. Give us a thumbs up. It's thoroughly appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get into this review, just wanted to say rest in peace, John Huber, formerly known as Luke Harper, finished his career up as Mr. Brody Lee. We saw some great tributes within the show for him. Yeah, just a great character. You know, we saw glimpses of how good this guy was in WWE, but we just didn't get the whole, full oomph once he was in WWE. And as he came to AEW, he had a really good run in the 6 months or so he was there before his passing. Yeah, man, it's just a complete shame that this has happened. But yeah, rest in peace, John Huber, Brody Lee, Luke Harper, whatever you know him as. A great man, a great wrestler. But ladies and gentlemen, let's get into Monday Night Raw review. The show started off with some dialogue by Drew McIntyre, who was basically saying, we've got now this #1 contenders match, which we were going to see immediately. Sheamus versus Keith Lee. The winner will face Drew next week for the WWE Championship. Sheamus came out trying to justify why he bro-kicked Keith Lee last week. Keith Lee came out, wasn't really having it. He said that he can't trust Drew McIntyre's word now because you vouched for this guy, Sheamus. And Sheamus kicked Keith Lee in the middle of this dialogue, which more or less sparks the beginning of their #1 contenders match. Really good match. We've been seeing Sheamus put on these really good matches, to be honest, in recent weeks. And this was another one with obviously the very gifted Keith Lee. We saw a white noise, which was surprising to see that Sheamus picking up a guy the size of Keith Lee. But despite Sheamus dominating, obviously working as the heel in this match, even though in past weeks Sheamus has been portrayed as the face, Sheamus worked heel in this kind of match. And in the end, we saw Keith Lee get the win with a spirit bomb. So Keith Lee will go on to face Drew McIntyre next week for the WWE Championship. This is his first opportunity at the WWE Championship. Keith Lee afterwards had some words with Drew McIntyre, who stayed on commentary while this match was going on. You couldn't really hear much of what these guys are saying, but there was no attack or anything, just a lot of respect. And, I guess Drew McIntyre showing off his belt to Keith Lee. Drew McIntyre is still saying that, despite who my opponent was going to be next week, I'm still going to walk out WWE champion. So I think Drew McIntyre is obviously going to retain. I don't see Drew McIntyre losing it on Raw to Keith Lee. I think Keith Lee will, should I say lose clean? I don't know. I think we are going to see maybe at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view a triple threat match between these three guys, Sheamus, Keith Lee, and Drew McIntyre. I'm not quite sure how we're going to get there. And this also actually affects my predictions for the Royal Rumble. I'm going to do a predictions video, an early predictions video just for the Royal Rumble its match for the men and women, which will be on this channel next week. So look out for that. But this was a really good start to the show. Probably the best match on the night. So you want to check this out if you didn't see it. Next up, we had The Miz versus Grand Metalik. And I think they were selling early on in this match that, you know, the Miz is in like no state, head frame. He's not in the right mindset to come and compete tonight. Grand Metalik got a lot of the early innings on him, a lot of roll-up attempts and stuff like that. Miz did start to build momentum halfway through this match, but then Grand Metalik in the end overcame Miz, and in the end, Grand Metalik actually got the pin on Miz. So you just thought, you know, this was Miz just spiraling into a black hole effectively, in terms of how he was being portrayed in this match and in this segment. But that was not the last of Miz that we saw on the night. Just taking a comment, Alex Harrison, thanks for joining us, bro. He said, my Rumble prediction is Big E, and Big E's going to throw out Kofi, or Big E throws out Kofi. Okay. We will see. We're going to get into Royal Rumble predictions very, very soon in the next couple of weeks. So it's going to be interesting to see what everyone thinks at the time. Next up on the show, we had Shayna Baszler versus Dana Brooke. Obviously, these ladies have crossed paths. They're all kind of within the tag team division right now, the women's tag division right now. It's good to see that Dana Brooke is competing at a higher level. She's beginning to learn. She's beginning to, you know, you're seeing some new moves. She's beginning to get a bit comfortable in the ring. She has been around for quite a while, but it's just good to see the growth. However, you know, this is Shayna Baszler in the ring. I don't think this match needs to last as long as it did. Not that it lasted overly long, but Shayna Baszler is really not being booked as Shayna Baszler. You see what I mean? You know, she's got a lot to offer. She's very, very good at what she does. And I think, yeah, Shayna Baszler needs to be treated a bit better, a bit more dominating. Also, almost like how they're treating Nia Jax. I know Nia Jax's one is based on her size, but Shayna Baszler is that good. You know, she's in Asuka territory of her ability. So, yeah, I think they're booking her too much, maybe too much like a commoner, if that makes it a bit of sense. In the end here, despite Dana Brooke's really good efforts, we saw Shayna Baszler win with a Kirifuda clutch. You can see that Mandy Rose was ringside. So Shayna Baszler, after she won, she got out the ring. Mandy came to check on Dana Brooke, and then Shayna Baszler put Mandy Rose in a Kirifuda clutch as well. So she left both of these ladies in that tag team laying, which doesn't look good for the ladies in that tag team. Doesn't look good for those involved. But yeah, it was, I guess, normal business resumed with Shayna Baszler, you know, getting the win over Dana Brooke. We had a segment where Alexa Bliss was in the playground, her Alexa Bliss playground, whatever they're calling it. And this was a bit weird. She was obviously still kind of mourning the loss of the Fiend. Wasn't really clear. However, she wanted to invite down Randy Orton. Randy Orton, she hit her music a couple times, or she hit or cued Randy Orton's music in, and Randy Orton didn't appear. All of a sudden, a Titron comes on, and Randy Orton is entering the Firefly Funhouse, and whilst she's in the ring, and Randy Orton's dialogue here was really bad. I don't think he quite believed whatever he was supposed to convey. He was saying he wanted to like maybe burn down the Firefly Funhouse so that there is nothing for the Fiend to return to, since Alexa Bliss had already kind of hinted that the Fiend is going to return at some point, you know, better than ever and all of that stuff. He went into the Firefly Funhouse, ripping apart the Firefly puppets, throwing them around the place. He didn't exactly like set the Firefly Funhouse alight or anything, but yeah, he just kind of destroyed it. And it was just a bit of a mess. You know, Alexa Bliss was very, very good in this segment and a latter segment on the show, but this wasn't it, especially from Randy Orton. I just don't think, you know, whatever he had to do was quite conveyed very well. Alexa Bliss ended this segment by challenging Randy Orton. I'm not sure if she actually said to a match, but she said she's going to challenge Randy Orton, like her versus him. So Randy Orton was to come down to the ring later, and he agreed that he would do so. Decent performance by Alexa. I just don't think Randy Orton quite sold whatever he was meant to do too well. It wasn't really clear. But yeah, that was a decent segment from those guys. Backstage earlier on in the show, we had seen Elias Elias was backstage with Jackson Riker. That's probably what I was trying to say. And they were playing some music in Elias's back room. And there was a knock at the door. Elias didn't answer it at first. There was another knock. I think there was still no answer. And then Omos just came through the door. AJ Styles is Omos. And I think basically Omos was trying to listen to some music, but he was getting distracted because Elias was playing music inside the room. AJ came in. There was a bit of back and forth between Elias and AJ. Elias insulted AJ. AJ challenged Elias to a match, and that's how we got their match in the ring. This match was all right. This match was all right. Again, I think for the build for it, this little backstage segment of a couple guys arguing over music being played loudly, the match lasted a bit too long. But I think this is more just to give both men something to do on the night. And this match was pretty decent. Like, it was pretty decent from both guys. In the end, AJ Styles got the win with a phenomenal forearm. You wouldn't have it any other way. I didn't expect Elias to win at all in this match. I guess this is typical, spinning of wheels, waiting for the Royal Rumble. There's nothing they want to build up with these guys in the meantime. So yeah, they are just doing what they have to do just to stay on TV. Alex Harrison says here in the chat, almost looks like a really bad heel. As in, he could be a heel, or you mean like he's not a very good heel, so he's doing a bad job? I like the look of Omos. I think whenever we do finally see him in the ring, he could be very, very good as just, a terrifying big man. I guess we might see that soon. Who knows? Maybe in the Rumble. It doesn't take much to get into the Rumble and, have a quick spot. So that could be very interesting. Next up on the show, we had Mustafa Ali from Retribution taking on Ricochet. Obviously, we've seen the back and forth for weeks now. Ricochet taking on different members of Retribution. Mustafa Ali still trying to get Ricochet to join Retribution. So these guys went to war. We've seen a lot of Ricochet and Mustafa Ali matches in the past. These guys can do some brilliant stuff. This match wasn't as... they can do more. Let's just put it like that. They can do more. We didn't get to see their full repertoire. I guess that's good because this is just a kind of like a throwaway match in this feud. But it's keeping both men busy, keeping Retribution busy. We saw a fantastic moonsault over Mustafa Ali into a deadlift German suplex from Ricochet. That was really, really impressive. And we saw a flurry where Ricochet basically went round the ring, knocking out T-bar, mace, slapjack. There was a particularly a DDT from the apron onto the floor to T-bar, which looked a bit rough. But yeah, and then he kept fighting on during the match. Went up top for a shooting star press, knees up by Mustafa Ali, and Mustafa Ali caught him in the Koji clutch, and Ricochet passed out. Mustafa Ali wins the match. After the match, we saw Ricochet being asked the question by Mustafa Ali, are you going to join us in Retribution? Ricochet done, I will not join you. So yeah, these guys went to attack again. Ricochet laid an attack on Mustafa Ali and escaped the ring. So we hope we do see something from these guys, from Ricochet particularly, but I don't know. I want to see more from Ricochet. Mustafa Ali is in a okay position as the leader of Retribution, although we don't, as a people, think much of Retribution at this point. But yeah, I guess we'll have to see how it goes. But yeah, decent match from these guys. Next up on the show, we had Charlotte Flair versus Nia Jax. Asuka and Shayna Baszler were at ringside to support their partners. And obviously, this was the story of the revenge of, Nia Jax putting Charlotte on the shelf back in June. So Charlotte was going to get some revenge. Decent match. Nia Jax wasn't made to be, no slouch for Charlotte Flair. She put up a decent fight, and Charlotte really sold the fact that she's a powerhouse. She's a good competitor. She even said that before in an interview before the match began. Just as it looked like Charlotte Flair was about to get the win, possibly with a figure 4 leg lock turned into a figure of 8, of course, Shayna Baszler takes out Asuka on the outside. Shayna Baszler then runs into the ring, puts Charlotte Flair in a Kirifuda clutch, which the referee throws out the match, disqualification. So we get no winner here. I guess this is the way that you choose to keep people looking strong. These 4 women are the top 4 women right now on Raw, at least on the Raw WWE roster. Who is going to step away from this mess of this tag team struggle to challenge Asuka and to really put some energy behind the Raw Women's Championship? I don't think any of these women should be fighting for the tag team belts, yet let alone holding them. These should be the 4 women, having goes at the championship. But yeah, it is what it is. What can you say? It is what it is right now. Next up on the show, we had the Hurt Business versus the New Day and the Hardy Bros, which are Matt Riddle and Jeff Hardy. Good to see the Hurt Business all in the ring at once. I did enjoy seeing them, and they were very dominant in the early stages of this match. There was a particular part in this match towards the end where it just broke down into pure chaos. Like, everyone was just in the ring, letting off their finishing moves, clearing the other team's opponents from the ring. One thing to shout out is Xavier Woods was wearing a Brody armband, which was very nice. And he done Luke Harper, as it was his finishing move when he was part of the Wyatt family, the little kiss to the fingers, and then the lariat clothesline with Tom Phillips, I think it was, on commentary shouting, yeah. So that was very nice. In the end, Bobby Lashley got the pin over, or should I say, he put Jeff Hardy in the Hurt Lock and made him tap out, which he has done for a number of weeks now. So yeah, Jeff Hardy looking very weak in that respect. I thought we were kind of getting towards Riddle versus Bobby Lashley US Championship on the line. It doesn't seem that is happening. Bobby Lashley before this match said that he's going to be in the Royal Rumble match. Of course, he can still have a US Championship match on the night, but there is just not enough focus being put on Bobby Lashley as the champion. He looks very dominant, but he's not defending the championship. He's just kind of holding it hostage at this point. So I definitely want to see going forward Bobby Lashley, making the United States Championship feel important. That is very important, so that the Hurt Business look like dominant champions that defend the championship and retain it when they defend it. Last but not least, we had this Alexa Bliss Randy Orton segment where Alexa Bliss, like I said previously in the night, had challenged Randy Orton to come down to the ring. So Alexa Bliss had changed her attire. She got into the ring and summoned Randy Orton, who came down, also got into the ring. There's no Alexa Bliss playground in the ring right now. The ring is completely clear, just these two in the ring. And I'm pretty sure Alexa Bliss said that she had a gift for Randy Orton. Alexa Bliss left the ring and went and grabbed a massive box that was wrapped up like a present. She went and opened the box in front of Randy Orton, and there was a jerry can, a gas can, and matches inside the box. And she basically was asking Randy Orton, like you did the Fiend, set me a light. Set me a light. She lay down in the ring. She poured some of the gas on her, the petrol on her did a line from Randy Orton to where she was, so maybe Randy Orton won't have to come close to her when he did it. She did all sorts to the point where she eventually just put the whole can over her head and emptied all of this on herself so that she could be set alight. Randy Orton then came out with the mic. Randy Orton was like, look, I know what you want me to do. I'm not scared of doing it, but I'm not necessarily gonna do it. Again, a lot of jargon being said by Randy Orton. It wasn't very clear what was going through his mind. And he did say, I'm still trying to process it. But as a viewer, it wasn't very clear. I think as he took the matches and looked to maybe take the first steps to setting her alight, that's when we started seeing the breakdown of the lights and everything, as if the Fiend was going to come. The lights went completely out at this point, and then we just saw a light from the matchstick that Randy Orton had lit. The commentators were selling it on commentary. No, Randy, don't do it. Oh my God, he's going to do it. Guys, let's get out of here. This, that, and the other. And then the show ended. Now, I don't mind a cliffhanger. Let me not poo-poo this. I don't mind a cliffhanger. But we all know WWE Raw next week is not going to start from this point. And that is the whole point of a cliffhanger. You continue from where you left off. And they're not going to start from this point. So I ask, what was the point in this? What was the point in making us think that you're going to set her alight? And not doing it, or like I say, because I can surely speak for what's going to happen next week, not starting from the point of where you were this week. You know, I mean, I'm not saying that she should be set alight, but I just don't think that there's going to be any continuity with this. Furthermore, people say they watched Raw Talk, and on Raw Talk, you can see the ring in the background. The ring wasn't set on fire. The ring wasn't burnt. There wasn't any signs of fire within the ring. Maybe they should have just turned down the lights to sell the illusion, but what can we say? So guys, you know, down in the comments, please speculate. What do you think has happened to Alexa Bliss? Did she get burnt alive? Did she not? It doesn't look like she did, but let me know what you think down below in the comments. Guys, that was Raw, and that was the Raw review. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, Raw has been a pretty difficult to watch at times this year. It's been a slog. Like 3 hours is very difficult, but it is what it is. You know, we love the product. We love the show. We love wrestling. Let me just say that instead of we love the products, we love wrestling. So we're gonna come back and watch it, despite it being not the best show on TV. But yeah, guys, put down in the comments what do you think has happened to Alexa Bliss, and we will discuss that in the comments. And then yeah, let me know as well what were your favorite memories of Brody. Obviously Brody Lee, Luke Harper, we've lost him this past week, so put that all down in the comments. Please give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video today, if you enjoyed the review, and hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Hit the notification bell as well so you get notified each and every time I drop a new video. WrestleManiac UK signing out, and I'll see you soon. Have a happy new year.